understanding these parables are stories, and these stories may be true, may be real, may not be real, but it represents the real masses of yoga. Sometimes we cannot explain the higher principles of yoga. So, when we cannot understand the higher principles of yoga, then we explain it by stories. And when we explain by stories, it makes easy to understand. So, that is what parables are. So, there was a greedy man. He prayed and worshipped God for many years, and God appeared to him, asked him to take a boon. So the man asked a boon that whatever he touches, it should become gold. Gold is still the precious metal in the world. It was precious metal in the ancient days also. So you see that what happens when we are greedy, when the mind is greedy, then what happens? Then the mind sits outside you. When the mind sits outside you, then not only you have a greed, you have a craving, and that makes the life miserable. So the man got a boon. Now what happened? Now he went to his home and he was thirsty and wanted to drink a glass of water. The moment that he touched the water, it became gold. So he remained thirsty. He wanted to eat the food. That became gold. He touched the bread, gold. So whatever he touched, it became gold. But when I crave and greed for something, then what happens? Then the mind colors everything with that object. And again he has to worship the god. God appeared, and the man said, please take this boon from me. I am not able to eat. I am not able to drink. I am not able to do anything. So, message is whenever we have greed in our life, we have a craving for something in our life, the craving and the greed causes the mind full of delusion. Why I said delusion? What is delusion? Delusion is delusion means what appears true but it is not true. Have you seen the blue sky? You still see the blue sky, but the sky is not blue. It appears blue. Science says the sky appears blue, but it is not blue. So that is one delusion. Have you heard about mirage? Mirage means in a desert, at a far off place, it appears that there is a water, but there is no water. Is greed a delusion? Is craving a delusion? Yes, it is a delusion. Why it is a delusion? Why it is a delusion?
Because it's not good for us.
Yeah, it does not contain happiness, but it appears the happiness is there. Normally we say, oh, huh? The kids say, no, I want a latest iPhone. It gives me happiness, but the happiness is not in the iPhone. Sometimes we say, I feel very happy if I get an ice cream, even when I have a problem, huh, with my cough and cold. That is also a delusion. So, what happens in delusion? In delusion, the mind perceives and feels that there is a happiness outside in the world. Yoga teaches us that the happiness is always inside us. Happiness is always inside us. So, whenever we have greed, craving, we should ask ourselves that where lies the happiness? Where lies the peace? The peace and the happiness are always deep inside our heart. That is why I say peace and happiness are our essential nature. Is it clear? So, what is the teaching? The teaching teaching of this master is that whenever we experience craving, greed that lead in our behavior and attitude, we should ask ourselves, am I really looking for happiness that is present in the object outside? And when we understand that happiness is not outside, the craving and the greed goes away. Did you get it? Did you understand it? How many times we have craved for something last week and we got upset? No? No craving? Last week? Hayden? No craving? Every? So, because it changes our personality. When we have a craving, we have a greed, and our attitude changes, our habit changes. You see in those moments? So it is always good to remember that happiness and peace is not outside but inside. You can write down a series. You can simply write down and then we will start understanding. First, write down the object. Then the second level is like and dislikes. Third level is desire. Fourth level is delusion. Fifth level is pride. Sixth level is jealousy, hatred. Seventh level is loss of memory. Eighth level is loss of wisdom, loss of knowledge. And the ninth level is suffering, suffering, suffering in our life. That is what happens in our life when we have a craving. Do you still remember the another story, the monkey? It is not money. I have misspelled it. Parable number 2, the monkey became a monk. Do you remember? Monkey became a monk. Do you remember that he put his hand into the basket holding 5 or 6 bananas, and the farmer was thrashing him? He was crying, and the time came when he left, when he dropped all the bananas, and he got rid of his hand from the basket and he jumped onto the tree. So this, there's holding on. When the mind is holding something, it is deeply attached. It causes the misery. It causes the suffering in our life. Have you ever thought of it? Because of this attachment, huh, we suffer. We experience pain. We experience anxiety. We experience reaction. What are you thinking, Hayden?
I actually have a very large
It's
concern,
on.
but I'm just listening.
Listening, is it true or not? When the mind is caught with an attachment, then it causes lot of pain. That is what happened to the monkey.
Yes, that is
And when the monkey left all the bananas, so he left the attachment and he became free. So that is also what happens in our daily life. We think that you see that my dad is making me miserable, my mom, my sibling, my friend. We throw the blame of our pain to outside, to our friends, family, and other people. In fact, we are responsible for pain in our life and we are responsible for happiness in our life. No one else. Do you agree? Do you agree, or you say, no, everyone outside is responsible for my pain and suffering? No, I have to understand. When I experience stress in my life, when I feel I am upset, it is the mind is sitting outside on something, some object, some person where I am attached. Clear? So, first is about craving, second is about attachment to a particular thing. Now, coming to the third parable, that is all about butter and the milk. So, what is the butter and the milk? I have always been saying that, do you see the butter in the fresh milk? Through your naked eyes, you don't see it. But when you churn this milk again and again, then what happens? The butter starts floating on the surface of the milk. Do you know the process how the butter is extracted from the milk? No. So you have the full cream milk and you start churning that milk again and again, and then what happens? Huh? The butter comes on the surface. The same thing. Yoga is nothing but churning our life. Yoga is nothing but following these principles, practicing it again and again and again and again until the real self, our real nature, comes on the surface. So, when the real nature comes on the surface, we experience permanent peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. What is the message? That the real self within us is the most precious thing in our life. The entire journey of yoga helps us to discover our real nature, to become a good person, to become a better person, to become the best person. To whom? To myself. When you become the best person to yourself, then you are the best. You need not to become a good person for others. Once you become a good person to yourself, you are always good for others also. Are you getting it? Every day before going to sleep and every day after waking up, we have to check ourselves. With eyes closed for a few minutes, we should check up. Did I react to anyone? Did I have a craving? Did I have an attachment? Attachment is different from love. You love your parents for the sake of love. Then it is love. When you are attached, means you expect something from them. You have a craving for some. Are you getting it? And it is easy to understand. No, I'm demanding. Sometimes, parents say, oh, you are too demanding. That is attachment. Did your mom and dad said you sometime? Why are you so demanding? No. So whenever they have told you, oh, you are so demanding, it means I have to go to my room and I have to ask myself, oh, where is the attachment? Where is the craving? I should drop it. I should find out what is my demand, huh? What is my desire. I have to sit back, I have to reflect, I have to think in my mind. And if the object that I'm demanding causes craving, I should drop it. Why should I drop it? To become happy. Here, do you remember the story of a frog and the fish? Do you remember every?
Mm-hmm.
Hayden, do you remember? Frog and the fish. Frog living in a well. He was very happy and he was claiming that it is all the entire universe. So one day the flood came and one fish from a river or an ocean fell into the well. Now the conversation started between the frog and the fish. The frog said, from where you have come? Oh, from an ocean. How big is it? How big it is? The frog jumped into the well and he said, ocean is that big. He said, it is very big. Oh, so fake fish frog again jumped into the well and he said, is your ocean that big? No, it is bigger. So the frog again jumped from one corner of the well to the other. And he said, is that big? No. So the flood was already there. The water was flowing very speedily. And it happened that the frog and the fish have entered into an ocean. Now river fish said, here is an ocean. Now frog took a jump, but he could not find the corner, huh, of an ocean. It is so big. So what the frog did? Frog became silent. I cannot find the depth and the length of an ocean. This is what happens when we meditate, when we practice yoga. The time comes, the mind stops completely, becomes totally silent, becomes totally mindful. In that state of the mindfulness, the mind realizes the real nature. It is full of permanent peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. Take one example of permanent happiness. What is that permanent happiness? So, where it is everywhere. What do we experience? Huh? By knowing the real nature. When the real nature is full of permanent happiness, where it is everywhere. What is the location? Every location. So, what is the duration of that happiness? 24 by 7. So, that happiness. That is why many people in ancient India did practice yoga. There are 3,000 masters: Buddha, Krishna, Shiva, Ashtavakra, hmm? Vasishtha, these are Patanjali, these are the names of great masters. So, yoga is a science of self discovery. Think of it. So, when you think and contemplate on these stories, it gives us a real message of what really yoga is. Did you understand? Are you feeling bored? Avery is not feeling bored. Hayden, what about you?
I'm feeling okay.
You okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. So now I always tell kids that be a good person. A person is a human being. Oh, I did not cover that. Okay. Human being is different from other living beings. Why they are different? Can you tell me why the human being is different from other animals, other living species? That is from where the yoga starts. Why they are different? Have you ever thought of it? Look at the tiger, seems to be stronger than us. See, the elephant is much stronger than us. Then why it is, how it is different from human being? First thing, we can think. Second is we can progress. What it means by progress? Simple. Tiger remains tiger throughout their life. So maybe in the childhood we are scared, but by learning we become fearless. So how it happens? Because we have a good intellect in us. By the intellect, we think. By the intellect, we make a choice. And by the intellect, we can progress. Clear? Normally, in the world today, you might have seen lot of pictures and lot of people saying that dog is practicing yoga, cat is practicing yoga. They can twist their body and they can say that you see that it is animals are practicing yoga. Normally, yoga cannot be practiced by any other living species than the human being, because the human being is thinking person. He has an or she has an intellect. Only the intellect can make a right choice, and then only we can practice yoga. Clear? Otherwise, cat will practice yoga, they become more intelligent than us. Then they will control us. They can learn few tips and tricks. That is all. But that is a habit, by habit. But as far as when we say becoming a good person, that means becoming a good person for ourselves. You become a good to yourself. Now, what it means being becoming a good to yourself? You don't, the moment the anxiety and the anger comes, you throw it out of your being. That is being a good person. You don't allow the anxiety, anger, reaction, craving to enter into your life. Being a good person, that you always live into that state of calmness, peace, happiness. It's a journey every day. Every day you are practicing, you are understanding. So, what happens when you become a good person? Means that your personal life is good, your professional life is good, your social life is good. Your physical level, you have physical well being, you have emotional well being, you have mental well being, you have intellectual well being. Every day you learn something in order to become a good person. Why to be a good person? Because the good person moves to peace, prosperity, and success. Good person is always live, think, work, speak in love, energy, awareness, in peace. Are you getting it? So again, why to be a good person? Simple answer. When I'm good to myself, I can succeed easily. Success will touch my feet. I can succeed in life, at school, at job, at home, with family, with peers, and everyone. Now, question comes, how to be a good person? To know peace and happiness, love and knowledge within you. When you discover that peace in you, you become a good person. So we have to discover a peace. That is why the parable of butter and the milk. That is why the parable of fish and the ocean. No, no, I remain in anxiety. I feel angry. I react all the time. No, you should not think like this. We should think like this, that if I become upset because of the mind, not because of my real nature. If I calm down the mind, I can reflect the peace within. And the parable of fish in the ocean simply means that we should not live in our own mind that is full of conflict and the duality and the craving. We should expand the mind like an ocean. When we expand the mind like an ocean, we find that happiness is always present. So, what are the three basic steps of yoga? I have not written, but I simply wrote. So, what are the steps? To know the principles, to learn it, to understand it, practice it, and experience it. So, you should challenge every teacher who comes to you, who teaches you. Tell me, prove it, give me the practice, see that whether, let me try it, whether it is possible or not. Challenge means you should ask the questions. If you are not asking the questions, you say, okay, there's beard guy speaking and he is right. No, you have to ask questions. So when you ask questions, then what happens? You understand it clearly. When you understand it clearly, again ask the question, what practice you are giving me that will lead me to peace and happiness? So what happens? What normally we should do. Let us, my master used to say, I lived with my master for 26 years. We are meeting hardly 1 or 2 hours in a week, and then we skip for a couple of months. I used to stay with him for many, many years. So he always used to say the first check whether there is a calmness inside your mind in you or not. When there is a calmness, then you see how that calmness can be extended while thinking, while speaking, while acting. Then you should learn how to apply that state of the calmness and the peace all the time. So, how it works? You know it, you understand it, you practice it, and when you practice it, you experience it. When you experience, then you change your mind, your behavior, your attitude. So let us just close your eyes. Yeah, close your eyes. Let us do the practice and see. We'll follow all the 5 steps. Just close your eyes. Yes, Hayden, close your eyes. Close your eyes and make your body comfortable. How you make your body comfortable? You are looking at the neck joint. Who is looking at the neck joint? Your mind is looking at the neck joint. Why we are looking at the neck joint? You see that you know it, you understand it, and you practice it. So we follow all the 3 steps. So when you look at the neck joint, mind goes to the neck joint, you feel the sensation, you're comfortable, and there is a steadiness. There is a steadiness in the body. So move the mind on the shoulder joints. When I say feeling the shoulder joints, if there is any discomfort, you remove that and then you experience sensation, you experience comfort, you experience the sense of steadiness. Then look at the hip joint. When you look at the hip joint, you feel the sensation. When you feel the sensation, there is a comfort and there is a steadiness. Remember, to know it, to understand it, then you practice it. So, anything you do not understand after the practice, you should be ready to ask a question. So what we are doing? We are just doing one practice of mindfulness. So, look at the entire body. Mentally feel the entire body and check if the body is steady. Body is not moving. Body is comfortable. You see that if the body is steady, body is not moving, body is steady, comfortable, then only we can move the mind within. So eyes are closed. Forget about your relations if even if they are making a noise. Let them make a noise. Why? I have to be a good person to myself. Don't worry about them. You see that I'm just translating everything what we have learned just now. So, so you are comfortable. The body is steady, body is comfortable, and in that state, you look at the breath. The breath is going in and out. You see that how we can withdraw the mind from outside to inside. So, first condition, do you fulfill the first condition? The body should remain steady. Now start breathing little deep, silent and slow. Start inhaling first into the belly, then into the rib cage, and you exhale. You breathe out from the belly, from the rib cage. You inhale deeply. You inhale deep, silent, and slow. You exhale deep, silent, and slow in the state of steadiness. When the mind makes your body move, what you should do? You just become aware and you should become steady. Now, see, we are adding another step. So, when you inhale deep, silent, and slow, so understand now, we cannot speak even a single word loudly when the breath is going in. We can only speak when we are exhaling the breath. So now inhale deeply. And while exhaling, make the mouth like a crow's beak and chant, recite loudly. Now inhale again deeply. Looking inside the heart, start chanting loudly. Recite loudly with me. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Beautiful. Again, inhale, deep, silent, and slow. While exhaling, again, inhale, exhaling. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Again, inhale. Inhale again. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Inhale again. Deep, not very fast. Slow. Inhale and exhale. While exhaling, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now you want to go deeper? You have to recite Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti mentally. Lips remain together. Inhale deeply. And while exhaling through the nostril, mentally recite, mentally sing. You're not singing loudly, you are singing it mentally. So men inhale and while exhaling, sing mentally Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. You are singing to yourself. Nobody knows what you are doing. Only you know it. Again, inhale. Inhale again. And while exhaling, you are looking inside the heart and saying, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Again, do it. Continue. Every time, first time you inhale, then what you do exhaling while you do Om, while exhaling, you do Shanti, Shanti, Shanti mentally. Now, my young friends, you are doing Shanti, Shanti to yourself. Shanti means peace. And the Om, when you sing mentally, it goes deep inside your heart. When the chanting goes, singing goes deep inside your heart, the mind also goes inside. That is the practice. When the mind goes inside, it tunes with our real self and we experience the sense of calmness and peace. Just continue couple of times more. I will do it loudly so that you can align with it. Again, you inhale. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sometime you feel sleepy. That means the mind is relaxed and it wants to go into the unconsciousness. It doesn't want to follow the mindfulness. Sometime while doing their practice, the mind pushes us to move the body. That means the mind wants to rush outside. So we have to simply tell the mind, if you go outside, you cannot be in the state of permanent peace and happiness. So remain inside, follow the breath, and do the mental singing and listening. And you take your time, you inhale. Mentally, you are singing Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. It is such a unique and simple practice. Every time the body moves, it means the mind wants to go outside. And you tell the mind, don't go outside. First, do the practice. Why? Because you want to change. We want you to change. So, saying to your mind that, you again start it. Again, you inhale, mentally singing, looking inside the heart. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Again, inhale. Mentally, you are doing it mentally, and I'm helping you when I'm doing it loudly to make you understand. Check if the body moves, tell the mind, for a few more minutes, do not move outside. The body movement simply means the mind wants to rush outside, not you. So we become aware, we understand it. Mind feels sleepy, mind wants to leave the practice. So when we feel the tingling sensation in the body, a sense of numbness, and then the mind goes inside, it gives us a beautiful experience. So, what we have been understanding, to know it. Continue doing it, and you are listening. To know it, to understand it, to practice it. When we practice, we experience. When we experience, where the experience takes place, it takes place in the mind. So when the experience takes place in the mind, that changes our brain. When the brain changes, our attitude and behavior changes. When our attitude and behavior changes, then our personality changes. When our personality changes, we become a good person, not only from inside, but also from outside. Leave and take a break. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Mentally saying. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We are still breathing, inhaling deep, silent, and slow. So while exhaling, deep, silent, no, while exhaling, we say Om. And in the next breath, while exhaling, we are saying Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now do nothing just for 1 minute. Check. If the mind does nothing, means no movement in the body. If the thought comes, let it come and go. And if anything is happening in the body and the body is not moving, the mind is not rushing outside. In that state of doing nothing, the mind naturally moves deep inside the heart and it recognizes, it experiences the deeper calmness. So now let us chant together 3 times with the same deep breath. Take a deep breath and now do it loudly. Om. Again, inhale deeply. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Inhale deeply again, second time. While exhaling, you are saying Om. Inhale again. While exhaling, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Third time. Inhale deeply. Om. Inhale while exhaling. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind to the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms, know your experiences, bring the hands down. Open your eyes. How are you, Every?
Good.
Good, feel calm?
Mhm.
Yes. That's really good. How are you, Hayden? Sometime I forget your name because I see Ryan.
I'm good.
Feel relaxed and calm?
Yeah.
We should not shy of practicing. Even it is very good that you have younger siblings. So you simply say, Hayden, come on, kids, let us do the practice. The way I guided you the practice, and you start guiding both of them. Try this. So simple. What we did. Do you have sibling, Every?
Yeah, I have a little sister.
Let us say, oh, you can try this. Sienna always tries with her siblings, and she's enjoying. And so simple a practice. First, you tell them that be comfortable with the body so the body doesn't move. And simply, if you are guiding your younger kids, you have to be little wiser. So you and then they will say, no, I see inside my head there's a darkness. Okay, that is very good. Continue seeing the darkness. Continue seeing the emptiness. And in that emptiness, we will take a deep breath. So, second step, you start asking them, you take a breath. So, when you inhale, breathe in into the belly. So, how you guide your kids? How you guide your siblings, the younger ones? So, just check when you inhale. Tell the kids, do you feel the belly is coming out? Yes, then you are breathing right. Continue inhaling. Check. Your ribs are going out. Yes, you are doing a good inhalation. And once they inhale, then tell them to sing with you. Om. So they may not sing first time, second time, but then they will start enjoying it. And the second, again you inhale, belly into the ribs, and then tell them that now you exhale. While exhaling, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So when they start doing it loudly, maybe for 5 to 6 times, and when you see that the body becomes totally steady, ask them to sing mentally and you sing loudly. You will see that they get deeply absorbed into it. The time may come that your little sister and brothers will not move your body. The body will become totally, and sometime I have seen that when I have guided the kids who are 5 to 6 years old, I see them that they start snoring. they fall into deep sleep. They are so much relaxed. And sometime I have seen that they fall into deep sleep. It becomes difficult in the beginning to wake them up. That means that they have gone into a deeper and deeper relaxation and calmness. So there are thousands of practices like this. You have any question until now before we go to the next step? Good.
That makes sense.
Any question? Any question?
Making sense?
Yeah, makes sense. Very good. So let us take a break for 10 minutes. We'll meet again in 10 minutes.